Hello, my name is Martin and welcome back to another video. We're up in the hills again on the moors, Saddleworth Moor we're at, and we're with Darren from Adventure Me.
Alright.
We've got the boy here as well. Shorts on today?
No jeans.
No jeans, alright. He's catering, by the way. We've come to look at a piece of infrastructure up here. Back in the day, I'll give you some dates, I'll give you some background. Lots of reservoirs up here and lots of controlling of water and rainwater. So we're going right up into the hills behind us over here to look at an old tunnel or something. So I'll let you know when we get there, but the way ahead is very steep and very bleak. That is our location this week. We're out in Saddleworth in the Pennine Hills to the east of Manchester city centre. So although it's April, I've wore about 6 layers because I thought it might be cold up here and I'm absolutely baking. Hopefully, I've made the tea, you brought biscuits.
Yeah, I have
Is
biscuits.
it a surprise? What have you got us? Anything good?
You have to find out.
You'll have to find out.
Yeah.
Well, it's a surprise. The good thing about coming up here is there's things that you don't know that look like paths. And this is one of those paths that we can see here in the Chew Valley. It's actually the remains of the Chew Valley tram road. When they had these massive civil engineering projects on the go, it wasn't unknown for them to build a small light railway to get all the equipment and the machinery up to the summit. So you're building this big reservoir high up in the valley, and one of the things they needed was vast quantities of clay. It couldn't be found in the immediate vicinity, but they did find some down in the local town near Micklehurst. So they needed to get hundreds, if not thousands of tons of this clay up the valley, up to the Chew Valley Reservoir. It was a gradual incline. I'm going to show you a map here. It's not the best of quality, but there was a gradual incline, and then there was an incline plane, and then there was the railway carried on. And this illustration shows the inclines on the tram road. So you can see it starts out fairly gentle, and then it starts a gradual ascent. And then if you look to the right there, it says incline plane, and you can see it's almost, well, to me it looks not far off vertical. Now apparently there was 6 steam locomotives employed on this tram road. 3 were kept below the incline plane and 3 were kept above it. This is also said about the tram road. It was apparently single track without any passing places or signals. Consequently, there must have been either a very detailed roster or the trains travelled up and down in convoy. There was a turntable at Ram's Clough in the Chew Valley, and the cable-hauled incline at Charnel Clough operated as a 3-rail system with full trucks being pulled up on one side and empty ones coming down on the other side. So there you go, that's the way they operated things. There's a picture of the incline. So locomotive would have brought the wagons up to the bottom, and then they would have hauled the wagons up the incline, and then a locomotive would have picked them up at the top and carried them further on. To the right there you can just see a carriage on one of the locomotives. I have read about visiting people that were visitors, distinguished visitors that came and were taken up on the tramway to be shown the works. What I also omitted to tell you is that this all took place between 1907 and 1912, just to put some dates on it for you. But here's an interesting report. I'll just read this to you quickly. Remember I told you about Micklehurst, where they were getting the clay from? Well, it sounds like in those clay pits there was fun to be had, because it says here, it is to be hoped that an example will be made of the youths who were caught indulging in such dangerous amusement on the railway lines at Micklehurst on Sunday. For a few weeks past it has been quite a common thing for the hundreds of lads to gather at the clay pit and run up and down the specially laid lines for the waterworks on bogies, blah 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 blah. So they're running up and down the lines, and obviously they're probably slipping all over the place and having a great time. When the fun was at its height and the boys were only about a couple of yards from the main line, after a good long run, an express passed, and the experience of the boys was of such nature that most of them have abandoned the risky sport. It says, on the arrival of 2 police officers, they captured about 20 youths and put an end to the excitement. So there you go. 1907, 1908, and there's chaos ensuing because hundreds of lads are gathering in the clay pits and having a great time. Things don't change, do they really? Now, a lot of that previous information was from the Saddleworth Historical Society Bulletin, and it was dated 1990. Now, obviously, someone's digitised that and put it on the internet, so I have to credit where I got all that information from. There's more information coming up from a different source, but this can be found online, and thank you to the Saddleworth Historical Society and the person that digitised that information. Let's crack on with the explore. So, this valley that we're in, as you can see here, this is the Chew Valley, and we're heading up this road that I once run up in a former life when I was really fit. I'll just try to turn around and show you. I ran up that. I had to keep stopping, but I did run up it. Top of it is a reservoir called the Chew Reservoir. In fact, the whole place has got a lot of reservoirs around here. You've got Dovestones Reservoir down at the bottom. A lot of local people know it's a local beauty spot. But the more adventurers of us head up to the Chew Reservoir. And like I say, there's a piece of infrastructure up there. It's a tunnel, so we'll go and check it out. I'm not the first person to have gone in there, but it's kind of like a flea in me here. I'm thinking, I've never been there, I need to check it out. So, even though it's April, we've still got quite a bit of snow. It's been quite cold. It's one of those days today where it's chilly but sunny. The best of days, really. Even so, I've got a sweat on. He's honking like a wildebeest.
So am I.
And he's just sweating like God knows what. So I think what we're looking for is somewhere in that snowy hillside over there. Not sure how we're going to get to it, to be honest with you. Look at this. Look at this.
This is what lockdown does.
I'm over 50. I'm over 50.
Keep going. So as you can see, we're going to come up. We're going to come to one of the an old slug. An old slug who's got half the top of the hill where he's knackered. I'll come show you.
Where have you been? I've been waiting for you. James. On my way up, sweating like mad. You can't throw it at me, I've got a camera.
Just saying, you can bring your mobility scooter up there next time.
Do you want an ice cream?
Right, so we've reached the quarry at the top.
Are you warm?
Oh!
Do you want an ice cream? So we're in a quarry. I think this was some sort of quarry. Look at this. And somewhere, the tunnel we're looking for is over there. We've still got to cross this valley and go over there. And I thought it was here. And it's not. So we walk on. But up ahead there, see behind there, I can just see the dam there. So we need to go up to it, across the valley, and then back down the other way. Oh, what fun. That was probably a stone quarry. They needed lots of stone, crushed stone, and they needed to dress stone for all the infrastructure. The aggregate was for the base of the dam, around the dam, and they obviously dressed a lot of stone for the works around it. Something to do with the water infrastructure here, isn't it?
Loads of water near it.
It's nothing really, is it?
No.
Bit of peaty water there. So that's the dam that is the Chew Reservoir. I'll show you at the top of there in a minute. We're going to walk up the side road there, up the road there to the top. You can see the infrastructure here that they put in way back around about 1912. All this was done. It must have been a desolate place to work, but of course it stood the test of time. All stone there, and a little tunnel at the bottom there, and I presume that goes into, let me put the exposure up, that goes into the reservoir. What's that? Look at that. So we just found this little hole here, but look at this. A hidden bathroom. What is that? Oh, it's well worth a dig, isn't it? Why is that tiled like that?
Looks like Victorian tiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, some sort of I wonder if that's been some sort of control room or something, or what's that about at all? Okay, so that remains a bit of a mystery, but I found this picture and it says the old Chew house, and that's up on the Chew Valley Road. Now that house looks to be in the location that we've just been in, and the only reason I'm making that assumption is because the valley is quite shallow there, and we're now at the top of the valley and it does get a lot shallower. Could that be what we saw, or the remains of some basement area of that Chew house? Not sure, it's just a theory I'm putting forward. We'll carry on.
Well, I don't know what it'd be doing up here though. Anyway, we're coming to have a look at the slip and slide. So I'm going to call it anyway. Now that would be...
So here we are closer up now to the little ramp, the water ramp.
Call it a slip and slide.
All sorts of valve mechanisms in there. And really black, sort of peaty water there, very peaty water. And it goes up there like that. Some sort of valve there. Be careful because that might be deep.
Yeah, yeah.
Oi, get out of there, your mum, if your mum knew you was in there she'd kill you. Get up. You bloody fool.
Cleaning my shoes off.
That's your excuse.
Oh, it's cool down there.
How far can you see?
Probably, I don't know.
Just dark.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go up the slide.
Right, it's going to break the slip and slide. No, not really. It's just that off actually.
So this is one of the overflows from the reservoir. Look at the icicles there. You see them? This is one of the overflows from the reservoir. Just a little trickle now, but in when it's been raining a lot. These things are absolutely spectacular and absolutely deadly. You'll get people that will come sometimes have a walk up here and film them, and the water just cascades down there. It's absolutely mental. Well, as you can see at the minute, it's absolutely nothing. And just round the corner there, it just goes into a basin. I'll show you, and it's the overflow for the reservoir. Are you taking the camera through?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice one. Don't slip.
Try not to.
What's that green stuff? It's slippery. Like the sunlight never had. So here's an amazing picture of the reservoir being constructed. You can just see on the left hand side there one of the locomotives. Fantastic. And the following pictures are probably around about completion time, maybe inspection by the bigwigs. And the house on the left there was the reservoir keeper's house. The reservoir keeper's house long since gone. This is the building of the what they call the puddle trench. So this is what they needed all the clay for. They had to put a central core of clay that was waterproof to dam the valley. And that's down in the puddle trench. Apparently the men that worked down there said it was so deep they lost the sight of daylight. I'm going to show you an interesting comparison now with some old maps. The old map is on the left hand side, modern day map on the right. You can see there's no reservoir on the old map on the left. If you look at where the cursor is, it shows the joining of the small clough and the Chew Brook where they join together, and it was right in the middle there of where the reservoir is. But just interesting to see the place before the reservoir was built, and those the two brooks there met smack bang in the middle of the reservoir. As you would expect on a project of this size, at that time there were accidents. I'll read you a few of them. 22nd of April 1908, a boiler burst and the steam winch which hauled the trucks up the hillside. 2 men were cut and scalded. 4th of December 1908, a man hit with an unexploded gelignite cartridge while clearing debris with a pickaxe. He later died in hospital. 1 man injured by a flying rock. 5th of May 1909, man cut his finger in a relatively minor accident but failed to clean the wound properly, later died from sepsis and pneumonia. 21st of August 1909, a drive belt on a stone crusher snapped, lashing a man across his back, fracturing his spine and fatally wounding him. 24th of June 1910, man died at the bottom of a trench after being buried by the contents of a skip of clay which slipped. I bet that was the puddle trench. He died at the bottom of there. 13th of February 1911, gelignite accidentally exploded, injuring 2 men. 2 men injured, one of whom had his nose and eyes blown out. Horrific stories. Not to mention the harsh environment that we're also working in. We're just outside Oldham, we're in Saddleworth. Yes, we're not a million miles away from Manchester, but I'll tell you now, this is a very, very harsh environment. It gets freezing cold, the whole place is exposed, and winters up here are horrendous. Okay, so I have to credit the website where I got a lot of this information. It's www.doveheritage.com. If you visit that, there's further reading to be had. You can get more information and details, but that's where I've got my information from. Thank you to them. Right, we're here.
I think so.
Well, we are. Well, we're not. We're not here. We've got to go that way. We've got to now travel on the other side of the valley, all down there, looking for this tunnel. So you see where we've come up that side there, we've now got to go along that side there.
Is it visible?
This is quite a journey. I have to admit to you that I find walking on these moors picturesque but mundane and quite exhausting, to be honest with you. It is a very difficult walk and very mundane but beautiful.
Sky looks.
So we're still on this godforsaken trail, looking for this thing. I think we should have come a different way, you know. We're out on the edge of the valley there, as you can see. And the weather's proper closed in now, it's gone cold. Sweating before. Boyo over there is wrapped up now.
I'm alright.
But we still think we've got about half a mile to go. So if we get there, and if you see what we're looking at, don't come the way we've just come, because I think there's a different way anyway. The road goes ever rolling on. Lots of gullies here as well. Look at that. Corker. And then a right drop down there to the valley below. Makes me nervous, you know. Just being on a hillside makes me nervous. Even though I'm staying away from the edge. There's something about heights. Alright in the tunnel, something about heights just really gets me. And we are right on the edge here. Hopefully we won't have to go back on the other side of the valley where we came. We can just carry on and go back down into Greenfield. This might be a no-go of this video. Still not found the bugger. I feel like we've been walking forever. We found it, and I've just done a zoom to it, and it's that hidden against the background. As I zoomed in, I couldn't even see it on the camera zoom. So hopefully I've got you that shot. But we've actually found it. We've got to go down the hillside a little bit to get to it. So as what I understand, this is a siphon. I'll have to voice over more information because I did read on it.
It's an inverted siphon.
It's another inverted siphon. We've been walking that far. We're going to get to the entrance and we're going to, I think we're going to have a brew, are we, James?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Brew.
You're the catering co.
Brew and biscuits.
Well, you give away now what you brought. I thought you'd been in the slaving away in the kitchen all night making something for us. Right, across the Lucky Heather to the top of the tunnel. This is what people don't show you, you see. It's on the edge of a cliff. Last time I saw snow in April, I was in Ben Nevis.
Yeah, but that's high, isn't it?
Yeah. So can you see where we're going to? There's the top of it, folks, and you can see it's we're on the edge here again. Let's go around the front. Ooh. Ooh. So just before we go in the tunnel, brew time. Now I know you was up early.
Yeah.
Was you baking?
Slaving away.
You was baking. What are we having? What have you got for us?
I made these. Tea
wow.
time.
Well, it's tea time. You used to have them in the 1970s when I was a kid.
£1.
When you were 20?
Yeah, what were they, a quid?
Yeah.
Happy shopper.
Right, is there anything actually in here worth eating?
Nice biscuits. They're decent.
Go go! Right, seriously.
Oh, yes.
Right, so I'll go for a plain biscuit, I think.
Oh, these ones are nice.
I have on the jambotti.
Like new sugar.
How's the tea, Darren?
It's alright.
It's actually Yorkshire tea, that, you know.
Brilliant.
It's Yorkshire Gold.
Pretty well trained then.
Yeah, I've got to admit, it is pretty good tea. Go go!
It's the best tea around Yorkshire.
It's gone cold now, isn't it?
That's gone cold.
Proper, the weather's proper set. He's shivering over here now.
Gone from sweating to freezing.
Shall we nip home and have a brew?
Yeah.
We'll just nip home and have a brew. Tell you about this week's sponsor. Cools it down. What's that say on your mug?
I know the meaning of life.
It doesn't help me a bit.
What's that from?
It's a song lyric, believe it or not, and it's from one of my most favourite groups called Magazine. Which leads me on to this week's sponsor. Let me tell you about Readly. Readly is an app that you can download to your mobile phone or your tablet, and it gives you access to over 5,000 national and international titles, magazines, all your favourite magazines and everything. Brilliant. So would you say you've got hobbies?
Yeah, I've got a few, yeah.
What? You never told me. What sort of hobbies have you got?
Football, bit of cooking.
Right, okay. Well, I've been on Readly recently and I've been looking at Traction magazine, which is all the BR Blue trains and stuff like that, which is fantastic because I've not looked at Traction magazine for ages and ages. And this is the beauty of Readly, because you can have up to 5 profiles on one account. So let's say you were my son, God forbid, right? You could have your profile, I could have my profile on an account. I wouldn't have to look at your cooking and football, and I could look at my trains.
Separately?
Yes, because you've got your own profile. And guess what? You can also look at it offline, so you can download the magazine and take a look at it while you've got no internet connection. So when you're bored in the car, I can keep you quiet. You can also bookmark the pages so you can go away and you can come back to where you left off in the magazine. And brilliant for me, getting a bit older, I can zoom into the magazines and stuff.
Get your magnifying glass.
Yeah, brilliant. Also, you can get back editions of all your favourite magazines as well. So it's been brilliant, because I know there's been a few articles in, like I say, Traction magazine, some of the railway magazines about old lines and stuff, and I've been researching some of the old lines on some of the railway magazines. You don't have to buy one particular magazine, because Readly gives you access to many, many titles, 5,000 national and international titles. So all that for $7.99 a month, that's what Readly costs. And if you use my code in the description to this video, and also I'll pin it in the first comment, you get 6 weeks free, and then it's $7.99 a month, and you can cancel at any time you want. Now that offer ends on the 16th of May. Also, it's environmentally friendly, because you don't have all that paper.
Good.
Can't beat it. Anyway, that said, thanks for listening. Right, walking on the moors is very nice, but this is more my kind of thing. So we're going in here, we're going to see how far it goes. As you can see, there's a big piping that you'll see when we get in there. That's part of the, I think, the water siphon. We'll walk to the end, see what it's like. I'm not even sure if you can get out at the other end, whether it's fenced off or not. But I'll tell you something, I think the other end comes out in the middle of nowhere. So we'll see what happens. Got big torch?
Yeah.
Ready to go?
Let's go.
Someone's had a beer. Do you two want to go first?
I better go first with camera, aren't I?
Yeah. Before we're going.
You know what, it's quite warm in here. This is going to be a pain in the arse to walk through, because we're going to have to walk to one side, and I've got the bag on my back. That is going to be a pain.
You have to take your bag off it.
Look at that big valve there.
You are going there.
Nice bit of a valve there. I wonder if it still works, this thing. Do you know what? It looks like it's still. That's a recent repair, isn't it? Very difficult, because you walk into one side all the time. This is a pain in the ass. Darren's just coming in now. I'm going to put the beam on. See what I mean?
Imagine one of these burst.
Yeah, if it bursts, I think we're in trouble, James. You can see how James is having to stoop there now. You've got to walk to one side.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
This is going to be a right slog, isn't it?
Yeah. Fortunately, you can kind of see the end. And you can sit down on the pipe when...
Mile a bit.
So how long do we think it is? Is it a mile?
Maybe a mile, yeah.
Surely not a mile.
Right, so.
But it's nice and dry in here. Kind of walking on sand. And I'm only looking down, so if I walk up to something, I won't get a warning.
You want to get past me?
Are you okay, Darren? Do you want to get front?
No, I'm alright.
Well, you can go front all the way back. So I think it's in quite good nick, this pipe, and I think it's still used. And as James says, it's cold to touch, so I think it's got water in it. You can't actually walk quite fast down it though. What a pain. Oh, more spiders, hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. Little tiny spiders, but those are the ones that eat you. I've made a calculation. If we were to get trapped or anything, I think James could feed 2 grown men for about 3 weeks.
What about your belly?
Right, I'll clear the way with spiders, don't worry. Sorry mate, sorry pal, up you go. Out you go, up you go.
That's 6 weeks worth of work there, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, we're getting a bit wet now.
Is it?
A little bit, nothing major. But it's proper solid floor here.
Tell you what, it's actually warmer in here than it is outside.
Yeah, it is quite warm in here. Nice and warm. Okay, so without disrespecting the engineering that we're looking at, this is probably one of the most boring, longest featureless tunnels that I've ever been through. But it has a story, so I'll try and polish the turd, as they say. This is the Chew Valley Siphon. Quite a remarkable piece of engineering, it really is. And as I read about it, it kind of raises more questions than it answers for me. But I'll tell you what I know about it. So in these sections where I've speeded it up, I'll tell you what's going on. We're just going to enter a little bit of an interesting bit now. Oh, look at this. Definitely getting a bit irony here now. I don't think we are halfway, are we?
Just after I was again.
You won't sink in my shoes, will it?
No, your shoes will be waterproof.
Yeah.
Right, now we're getting muddy.
What is it?
Well, it's not too bad.
I'll let you want that with me now.
How come in the middle it suddenly gets muddy?
It's getting a bit brown. I might go back this way, my training is shit.
Go back if you want, James.
What do you think, Martin? Do we push on or do we go back?
We'll carry on, you can't go back. We'll get leathered. James has only got boots on and it's getting muddy and a little bit deeper. And he's feeling uncomfortable. But we're going to carry on. See how we can, see how far we can go. I mean, it is a straight run, it's a straight tunnel, it's just a bit muddy and a bit unpleasant, but I've been in worse places. Okay, so we need to start with some politics. So for years and years and years, industry downstream of these waterways that start off up in the moors are relying on the water. I know for a fact that the cotton dyeing industry needs vast quantities of water. And so this industry is using all this water, all right? Suddenly, in the 1907, 1908, they come along and they start to make these massive dams and they make these reservoirs for drinking water. So industry is up in arms, so we have a problem. So they come up with this idea of compensatory water. So in brief, the lower level reservoirs are for drinking water. So if you know the area, Dovestones Reservoir, or if you're looking at the map, Dovestones Reservoir is lower down, and that is for drinking water. The higher up reservoirs, such as Chew Valley Reservoir, which we've just looked at, is full of what you've heard me say, peaty water. So there's a lot of peat bogs in the area. The water that drains from it is kind of acidic, very dark, stained, and it's not drinking water. So the higher reservoirs are compensatory water, lower reservoirs drinking water. The higher reservoirs, this idea of compensatory water is to refill the water courses for downstream industry. So industry up in arms, you can't take our water courses, you know, you've choked them, you're using them now for drinking water. So they build a reservoir and they build a network of pipes so they can move water around and subsidise these waterways that are now probably half the flow of what they were before, and I'm only guessing there. So that's what the Chew Valley Reservoir was. It was a compensatory water scheme. And this siphon we're looking at, the pipe, is part of moving that water around. I'm going to show you now where this siphon runs from. It goes from the Swineshaw Reservoirs up in an arc. It goes up 119 metres from its base up into the hills and then back down again. and it discharges its contents of water into the Chew Brook. I think I've got that right. It's coming from the Swanshaw Reservoir to the Chew Brook. I'll show you the route of it now. You'll get an idea of it. Right, there you go. I've left the town of Ashton-under-Lyne, so you get an appreciation of the location and the distance. The Broken Arrow, the red line, starts at Swanshaw Reservoirs, and it, like I say, it runs up. Imagine an arc if you're looking at it from the side, 119 metres high, and then drops back down the valley into the Chew Brook. So when we went in, that pipe there, you see it goes downwards and into the ground, drops now downwards and down the side of the valley. I'll just pull out here and I'll give you a shot. It runs down the side of the valley there now. Incredible. Come on, Martin, show the shot. And then back down to the Chew Brook. So it's now going underground again. So they've obviously tunnelled it underground down the side of the valley. I just find that incredible. But they've obviously had to do that, maybe to protect it from the frost and everything. So that's what it does, and that's what it is. Incredible, absolutely incredible. Now, the tunnel isn't the whole length of the siphon. It's only the very last part, probably where you see that last dot and then that arrowhead, really. So how long is this tunnel? 613 yards or 561 metres, and construction started in 1908. Right, I think the light at the end now is getting bigger. So I think we're more than halfway through. But we'll see. Oh, I tell you what, I won't be coming back here. This is crap. You know, do you remember the Gore Brook? That was easier than this. Once you was in. Got a sweat on. You see Darren down there? Whew, got a sweat on. Proper sweat on, yeah. Yeah, it is never ending. The thing is, there might be a gate at the other end. Oh God. Why? Right, I'll turn the camera around and we'll carry on. So a few of you have been asking about the torch that I use. It is a very good torch, and it's took me a bit to get into it and get used to it. But I will give it a good rating now. It's made by Phoenix, F-E-N-I-X. They're an American company. It costs a lot of money. This is the LR40R. I'm not sponsored or anything, just that people ask me who makes the torch. So it's made by Phoenix, and because it was so expensive, one of the members on my channel helped me out and bought half, so thank you, Mike. The torch is working really well. Anyway, a load of iron coming in here. Look at this. Look at that there. Turn the middle bit off. I wonder why that suddenly decided to come in there. Anyway, I've reduced the power a bit on the torch, and we'll go down, we'll carry on going. It's still muddy. Got this iron ore ingress. So again, when you read the literature, apparently this tunnel was mined from either side, so they dug it out of the rock. Now we're not that much below. When you go in and come out, you're near the surface, but I think it goes under a hill, so obviously the entrance and exit are pretty much near the surface. But obviously we go under a hill, like I say. So yeah, I wondered if it was a cut and cover, but apparently it was mined out from both ends. Just incredible the lengths they went to, isn't it, to move this water around. You can see Darren down there just about. I really hope at the other end, we can get out, because I don't fancy coming back through here, but if necessary. There's a gate on the end there. I don't know if it's open or not. Got to watch for spiders now, because as you get towards the exit, that's where they like to be, because little flies come in. And you can just see the daylight come natural. Oh, we can get out, I think. I think we can get out. What's crawling on my back? Yeah, the gate's open. And the pipe, if you notice here, the pipe, get my torch on, sinks into the ground again. Ooh, what's that? Look at that. Big step. Big step to get over. You know what? It's a good job I put the torch on then. As you get to the end there, there's a big step near this valve, be careful. Yeah. There's a big dip just after the big valve thing. Okay. The relief when you come out is amazing, isn't it?
Stand up. Oh, that was
horrendous. I've got a proper sweat on.
There.
Proper sweat on there now. It was a stoop, weren't it?
Just horrible.
Nothing worse than stooping. But what a view when we come out! It's amazing. I'm glad that gate's off. I'm so glad that gate's off, because we would have had to go back if we had to, but you know what I mean, we've done it now, we ain't going back in there.
I think I'd have tried my best to hack it off.
Right, so there you go, the inverted siphon, the Chew Valley inverted siphon.
The only thing inverted was us two.
Yeah, I don't blame James actually. James had boots on, and I think the water was going into his boots and stuff, so we've got wellies on, me and Darren, and James is taller, so it must have been one hell of a stoop for him. Apparently Darren's just checked, that's Glossop over there, we think.
Yeah, tin twistle or
we think tin twistle or Glossop, could be wrong. And then if you go this way around here, you've got Manchester City Centre down there. I'll just zoom in. Actually I was zoomed in. Yeah, you can just see the peaks there of Manchester City Centre, the peaks of the buildings. Well, lovely view, absolutely fantastic view. So if you do that tunnel, it really does bring you out on the other side of a desolate moor. Good job the weather's alright. And already I'm trying to follow the tunnel, but we've lost all reference to it now. Just hope we're heading the right way, walking over the tunnel. Interesting thing about this is when they would have done that tunnel, they would have just walked over the moorland. I hope we're in a marsh.
Watch it.
Memories of Beeline Viaduct.
Oh, God, yeah.
They would have just walked over the moor and put pegs in.
Yeah.
Well, posts in, and just followed the posts and possibly made shafts. I don't know whether it was that or whether it was a cut and cover, but we've rose up considerably now. So imagine the tunnel is a good few foot beneath us. But I'll show you where we are. The grass on this moorland can become tinder dry, and during all the construction work, a spark from one of the steam locomotives caused a moorland fire. That was one of the delays. They also were delayed because of the grouse shooting season. They had to stop work for a certain time as well. Can you believe it? Right, that was one hell of a walk. Whose idea was it? You enjoy yourself, James?
Yeah, it's been good. Good walk.
Yeah,
a bit long.
My feet are killing me. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to check out my link to Readly, the Readly offer. It's in the description to this video, and I'll pin it in the first comment. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the moors again. Take care, and I shall see you very soon in the next video. Bye for now.
Do it.